sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are. Welcome and hello, everybody. This is Andrew David, Blake Newbar's partner program, the High Performance Call, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern time. Appreciate you guys being here. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Some of you sounds like it did. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the midst of a challenge that I have issued. Hopefully a lot of you guys are taking part. You're bettering yourselves a little bit each day. Here's what I want to talk about today. I gave you a commitment this last week that I would be doing all that I can to deliver high quality content to you on a daily basis at a level a bit higher level, a bit more prepared. I really want to drive some value to you. So we are going to be doing, as always, there's going to be a balance between both the mindset and the skill set. So today and tomorrow, what I'm sharing with you is a training on branding and building out your personal brand, the art and science of personal branding. It is important in this. Now, to be clear, we've got some training in the dashboard. There's more training inside the accelerator if you've gone that route. And some of you need to focus on some of the basics. This is a training that I guess about 6 years ago when I was into digital marketing after maybe 3 years, 4 years. No, David, not what I mean, but just felt like it was time to raise that level. So I had been in digital marketing for a few years and I went to an event in Vegas. I paid to go to a mastermind, to a training there. And they had a gentleman come in and speak that had been in the music industry, had been part of actually a boy band growing up, and then stayed in the music business and was doing branding and personal branding on a larger level and then smaller as well. And then got into digital marketing, was helping digital marketers with their branding. So what we're going to be sharing today and tomorrow is a little bit of kind of worksheet homework for you. I'm going to give you a series of questions and trainings and things that you will sit down and do. You're going to sit down and perform. You're going to self-evaluate. You're going to put these things in place. Now, some of you guys may not need to get too in depth with the personal branding at this point. Okay, you may want to just focus on the basics. So if you're in a state where you're still kind of putting things together, you're getting comfortable on Facebook and just posting or what have you, then please take some notes here, listen, learn, but apply the basics first before you dive deeper into this. Some of you guys that maybe you're out there a little bit more and you've been posting a little bit and you're trying to figure out, find your voice, then that's what's going to be important. Because ultimately within branding, it isn't, when we create a brand, we live in a day and age where creating a brand has to be transparent and authentic. It's not just, what do I think they want to hear? It's, what do they want to, who am I? What is my voice? What is my message? And what do they want to hear? And how can I bridge that gap, right? How do I take what I've got, create that story that's going to get other people involved at that level? And that's what I want to kind of share with you guys today. So we're doing this in 2 parts. Okay. So today I'm giving you 5 different questions. Tomorrow I'm giving you 6 through 10. And I am going to provide these slides. So because there's questions and things that are there, and we'll dive into that. Okay. Does that make sense? Everybody got any questions for me? Are we ready to go? All right.
Andrew, one yes, question. With branding, obviously we're focusing, the majority of the program focuses on Facebook.
Yeah.
However, a lot of the brand identity nowadays is Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. Are you going to touch on those as well?
Yeah. So what I'm doing today, we're talking about, when I'm talking about creating a brand, what I'm talking about is you, your message, your story, and what you're getting out. Now, the platform in which you use, right? So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, everything else, we are going to do training on the platforms. Okay. So the method that you get your message out will vary depending on the platform that you're on, but your message remains the same. Okay. So when we're talking about branding in this case, we're talking about you, your message, and how it is heard by your audience. And in order to build a personal message and have that connection, that's a big part of this, right? So yeah, we'll get into the different platforms and training there. We are going to do some video training. There's some little tips that I'm kind of picking up as far as short-term or short form video that can be helpful, that you can use on YouTube, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, and TikTok. But your branding, your message has to be on point either way. So one quick thing that I'd recommend, almost all of the videos that I've done with guests, we've ended up talked a lot about branding. Go back and watch, geez, it's almost been a year, but no, maybe he did this year. So Henry Kaminsky was a call that I did. One of the guests, the brand doctor, go look for him. Michael Faber is a guy that joined us, great big beard. He talked about branding in your message. Go watch them. Those videos are great when it comes to how you deliver, right? So Michael talks about having kind of 5 pillars. That helps with what's going on. And I touch on something similar today. So let me kind of dive in. These are some of the questions that you're going to be thinking about, that you're going to answer for yourself. So number one, as part of your brand is you in most cases. Some of you guys have a company, you have an identity there. And so there might be some modifications that you go about with this. So I'm dealing with mostly the power of a personal brand in this scenario. So here's what you want to do. You want to start to write out your story. You want to be detailed. Don't judge yourself. Keep it real. But what you want to do is focus on the mile markers. For right now, we don't need long, drawn out explanations of everything. Imagine if you set up a timeline, have a piece of paper lined, or if you're going to type it out, whatever, make bullet points, but just highlight some of the major events, right, that happened throughout your life that became your story, that turned you into who you are. What makes you stand out is important as well. Too many times I talk with people and there's this offhanded, I did this, but nobody's interested in. Guys, I promise there are things that you have done or are currently doing that are going to resonate with your audience. People are going to find you interesting if you're willing to share and be authentic. Don't make shit up. Don't over create, but focus on some of those mile markers. Now, if you do this exercise and all of your markers are negative, just painful moments in your life, then I need you to also sit down and force yourself to find some positives, because they are there. Okay. So look at both. Or if you write that negative, what was the positive that came after it that helped you overcome or help make sure that you're still here? All right. So this is number one. Number two, you're going to find out what makes you tick. So a book that I have recommended in the past, these are 2 books that I absolutely love. Okay. So you have StrengthsFinder 2.0. This is the Discover Your Clifton Strengths. And then you have Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Both of them have are through Gallup and Clifton, and same companies. They both have little personal exams that you can do on them, but self-awareness is pretty important. And we typically have, it's rare that we are self-aware enough to who we are, how we behave, and what's going on in our life. We are either overinflated in our ego and our importance, or we severely underestimate who we are, right? So bringing up your level of self-awareness is going to be important. So what you want to do is you want to understand your preferences and dreams, right? Doing that helps build your self-awareness. So who are you? Take a personality test, make a list of trigger words and scenarios, different things there. So there's a couple of different ones here. There's the 16personalities.com. There's the personalitylab.org. This page right here, if you go to it, has 14 different tests. I haven't looked at all of these. Okay. So I don't know. I just went and looked at tests, right? I'm not as worried about, guys, the Mensa IQ, who cares? What we're looking for are like EQ, is emotional intelligence, skills. Don't worry about the Career Explorer. That's not what we're trying to do. But look up those, and then the Strengths Finder, the Clifton, things like that. So I left you a couple of them, and then here, I'll put these down as well. Strengths Finder 2.0, because I'm giving you guys these slides. As I give them to you guys, do me a favor, don't modify them. I am going to be adding to them between today and tomorrow to give you numbers 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this was done by Don Clifton. Has anyone done one of these yet? I know I've given this before. Has anybody done any of these?
Are you going to give us the titles to the books? I didn't see those.
Yeah, so I'm writing them down. Strengths Finder 2.0.
Thank you.
And then Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Now, when you buy, I don't know about the Kindle. I'm assuming it's the same thing. This is by Bradbury and another author, but this should be enough to find it. Both of these books, if you get them on Amazon, I'm not sure about the Kindle, but if you get them on Amazon, then it'll have, like this one has in the very back, like this access code that you can open up, and then you can go in and take a test, and it'll give you like this 15, 20 page report or something. David, you got a question?
No, I just wanted to say that you can take 2 types of tests for Strength Finder. One is $9.95, $9.95. It'll give you your top 5. And there's a more extensive one for $49.95 that ranks, I believe it's the first 32.
Okay.
Strengths.
One of those, and it may just be the first one. One is included if you get this. So I'm not sure which one that is, but I love those tests. And there's a lot of them, guys. There's Colby, there's the Enneagram, there's a lot of them. I like doing them every few months. I feel like I change, can frequently, which is, I mean, some of your core values remain the same, but a lot of kind of how you're dealing with things and what's going on in life, like that changes. And so doing this consistently is important. John says doing the Strengths Finder vastly helped his career. So is the emotional intelligence, got certified to teach it. Nice. John, I will message you if you'd be cool, maybe sharing a few things along one of those sometime. I think that'd be pretty cool. Probably the emotional intelligence one. I think that'd be where I'd like to kind of focus. There's a I'll share. Okay, so there's one of my favorite videos is a short one, is 2 to 3 minutes. There's a handful of them, right? Dan Sullivan, I've talked about before, who runs Strategic Coach, an amazing program. Then there's this guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. A lot of you guys know who that is. Some of you may not. Gary V is super out there on every social media platform you can think of. There's a short video from him where he talks about your strengths and weaknesses and paying attention to what you're good at and building that. I will share it with you guys in the Skype group. I will caution you, Gary is a gentleman who has the mouth of a sailor. So if you're okay with that, then you know what to expect. If you don't want to hear that kind of language, I have warned you, and there you go. Okay, I'm just letting you know. But there's a couple of videos that I really like, and it's just, Gary's like that with everything in his regular conversations. He's one of those guys that one of the first guys that did his content where it's just documenting his life. Now he's doing enough where it makes sense, but he just had somebody coming around and filming everything that he was doing from a business perspective. And a lot of people started focusing on and copying that model. So anyway, I'm going to share these ones. Either one of these books are great, Amazon, Kindle, whatever. Okay. Next, you're going to get clear on your strengths and weaknesses. So that kind of goes hand in hand. List your strengths as you see them. List the weaknesses or areas of improvement, and then ask those who know you well what they see. This last one, honestly, guys, this here, listing your strengths and weaknesses, do the test. I'd almost do this before you do the test. Write it out, what you think, and then do your test. When you do your test, any one of these personality tests, make sure that you do it and you do it quick. because when you do it quickly, your responses, you're not giving yourself time to think, because there's the whole, we edit a lot. And what you need to do is just, especially with these, be as real as possible with yourself. Now, that conversation of talking with someone else about your strengths and weaknesses, that's where you've really got to set your own personal ego aside and open yourself up. And it can be difficult. So you got to pay attention to who you're going to ask. If you're asking someone that whenever they talk about things in life, if they're always negative, there's a very good chance that they will pick you apart, and you got to be ready for it. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. If you go into it knowing, this person's kind of negative, they're going to find some of these weaknesses and really help pick at them. If you've got someone that is always a cheerleader, right? And we all know someone like that, where it's this level of positivity, and they will look at you with the rose-colored glasses. Be ready for that as well, right? And so maybe we find that balance in the middle. Okay, so all right, do that. Now, this next one, what are your values and interests? What are your personal values? Are kind of your personal compass. So write down your top 5 values, include brief meaning behind each. We're going to rate them out. Pick 2 that are potentially most out of alignment with your current lifestyle. Let me see. I had asked my assistant to try and put together this list for you guys so that you didn't have to create it on your own. There's 30 something words here. Okay. So she's got it done. So what I'm going to be sharing, let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to be giving you, I've got all these when it comes to like your values and interests. There's all these words, all this stuff. So I had my assistant transcribe it. She's putting it on a piece of paper, or on a Google file. So you'll have it in just a few minutes. I'll share that with you. So you don't have to think of all of them yourself. This is not all inclusive. There are things on here like fame and family, justice and kindness, significance, sincerity, right? There's a bunch of them. They're not all encompassing. You may come up with something that's unique for you. All right. So use that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create the values. We're going to do the value definition. So if it's fame, it's this. If it's ambition, it's this. If it's, challenge is something that's important to you. You constantly like to challenge yourself, or you're curious or dependable or what have you, right? You're going to write out where you are in alignment right now. 1 being, I don't do this much. And 5 being, this is something I strive for all the time. This is a major part of my life and every decision that I make, right? So you want to come up with some of your values. Now, guys, all of this stuff that I'm giving you, your experiences, your story, your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, all of this is going to be included as part of your brand as you get your message out to people. Understanding yourself better as you do this is going to help you connect with them, because what's happening right now is a lot of you are just putting out anything you can to try and connect with everybody. And then you're going, why is nobody responding to me? Well, because what you're putting out either doesn't have much to do with you, or it's not. Now, content for content's sake, just having something there can be helpful until you get things going. But understand your message, your voice is going to be important. Okay. So that's kind of what we're focusing on here, what we're trying to do. So you're going to write down the values, quick meaning for each, rate them on a scale of 1 to 5, pick 2, commit and plan. And then you want to so this is the important part. So pick 2 that are potentially most out of alignment. So if you say something like being dependable, or focus, focus for me with ADHD and other stuff in all the things that I juggle, that's an important part of who I strive to be. It's a value that I have, but it's something I constantly have to work on. And so I would rate that maybe lower on my, hey, that's something I need to, I'm not in alignment with. And so what I need to do is commit and plan on how I can bring those values back into focus, how I can bring focus back into focus. I love that. So this goes to my daily tasks, right? I'm not creating goals to do this. I'm creating tasks. that I can put in place that are repeatable, that I can duplicate day after day after day. Okay. So again, I'm going to give you guys these slides. I know some of you guys are taking notes. You don't have to write down every single thing verbatim right now because I'm going to share these with you. Okay. And then number 5 for today, determining your passion, what lights you on fire, right? Your Phoenix moments, what brings about that flame. A lot of us have allowed the flame to just kind of wither a bit. We've snuffed it out with all the bullshit that we deal with on a consistent basis, and we don't allow it to just burn. So, a few questions. What would you do with your summer if money wasn't an issue? What are your favorite activities? What type of people are you drawn to? Obviously, I need to pay attention to my typing here. What type of stories in the news or history capture your interest? Now, we want to separate the activities you like to do from the passion that drives you to do them. So what do you like to do, but then why? Why do you like doing them? What's the drive behind it? On these activities that you wrote down, is there a common thread? Is there something there? Family for me is going to be one. Close friends is something. Relationships is something. Both business and personal. Growth and development, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So was there a common thread? Why do you love what you love? Now pick 1 or 2 that you want to invest time in. So I would look at kind of a combo of activities, values, and strengths that you want to invest time in. That's where I would structure my daily tasks. And I want to create tasks that are going to help me put time into those things. So if I can take things that I have value in, that also I'm passionate about, that kind of lights that fire, well, then I'm going to figure out some things that I can do to help kindle that flame a bit more. I'm going to be wrapping this up in just 2 minutes. So Lynn, if you need to head out early, feel free. But guys, find ways to allow your heart and your mind and your soul to breathe and live, right? Stop stifling it. Always must chase the dream because the dream will not chase you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree. That's important. So create some of those tasks. Give yourself some tasks to go have some fun, right? Oh, I love nature. And you're sitting on your butt, right? It's like me with fitness and talking with a doctor in the last week and a half and realizing I'm sitting on my ass way too much. And so I change things up, right? Find things that you can do that are going to, lift you. And that's going to be important. All right. So part of this is all about your brand. This is about you. This is about your message. This is about what you put out into the world. There's nothing wrong with showing a little bit of who you really are in your marketing, guys. People will connect with you better. So I'm going to share these slides. I'm going to have the values, the core value stuff all typed up. I'm going to have that on there here in just a little bit. But the personality test, those links are there. You can find some else, find some others. Just Google them. There are plenty of them that are free. If you want to pay for something, that's fine. If you don't, there's hundreds, I'm guessing, but there's a lot of personality tests that are out there. And I'm not talking about the Facebook, like what Disney princess you are, or what character in Twilight you most represent. So let's find something that's a little more directed to us and what we're trying to do. But we're going to build upon this. This is the art and science of personal branding, ladies and gentlemen. This is truly where it starts. It is not just, oh, what platform is going to be best? What is this person saying or that person saying? How would I say it? Has always got to be your first question. I want to talk about this. How would I say it? Right? Don't worry about people liking or not liking what you say as much, because I promise if you just be yourself, then you're going to attract some people. Okay. That's why it doesn't matter. Every once in a while, someone asks about, well, aren't there a lot of people in that niche? Maybe, but not the people that want to hear you. There may be someone there that wants to hear me, but that doesn't mean that your voice isn't wanting to be heard. So pay attention to that. All right. These slides I will give you guys right now. We will wrap up. Tomorrow we're getting through 6 through 10 on here. Give me a few minutes. As soon as they give me the list of stuff of those values, I'll give you guys that Google Sheet. Thank you guys. Go out, do a little bit of work, do some self-thinking, and get to work. Appreciate you guys. Take care. Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. To go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are.